מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב ומה נעים, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד. Page 128, 128. Well, Shabbat Shalom, everybody. It's so good to see you and your faces, which I believe exist. I see you smiling with your masks on, with your eyes, having the twinkle in your eyes of the smile, and it's so great to see all of you here in person. Welcome also to our friends on Zoom. Welcome to our TBT members, to our guests, to our honored teachers who we're going to have some words and honors for later today after a year of wonderful, dedicated service in our religious school. Welcome to Tali, all of your guests and your family, for a very special Bat Mitzvah weekend. We are so glad that you are stepping up, both literally and figuratively, tomorrow to the Torah to become the next Bat Mitzvah in the Jewish people. Very beautiful, very exciting. You may not have come to a TBT service before. Perhaps you've come to every TBT service this year. Either way, you're most welcome. We have a prayer book that has both the Hebrew and the English transliteration of all of the prayers we're going to be saying. If I give a page number, it's the one that's in brackets. If you have one of these smaller books, you'll notice that they have brackets at the bottom. That's the number that you're looking for. If you have one of the thicker books, don't even worry about it because there's only one page number at the bottom of the page. And I would like to invite everybody to take a moment to wish somebody who they didn't come in with a Shabbat Shalom. Doesn't have to be a handshake, just a gentle word and a Shabbat Shalom. And Tali, you can come on up with your mom and your grandmas. We're going to light candles together. We're on page 120, everybody. 120. Go ahead, no problem. And if one of you wants to read one of these, you can step up to the microphone. Tali, do you want to read one of those?
Sure.
Either one?
Okay. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Very good. So, is Mom doing the match or are you doing the match?
Good trick, naturally.
you, everybody, for participating in bringing the light into our community. How special to have these generations represented up here today. We look forward to seeing more of all of you throughout the next day and its services. And Tali, we're going to make sure you don't go too far because you're going to come back soon. We enter now our Kabbalat Shabbat service, which begins on page 128 with Yedid Nefesh 128.
Yetid nefesh harachaman mishoch avdecha el retzonecha yarutz avdecha kemo
As you can tell, at Temple Beth Tikvah, Judaism is not a spectator sport. It's a communal experience, and we love hearing the sounds of your voices as we sing. Some prayers have words, and some profound prayers don't have words. They just have the melodies. In either way, when we participate, it helps the prayer ascend and create something beautiful together as a community. So we hope you'll join in with Lecha Dodi. We'll come back to the chorus every time we sing this special mystical psalm. It's on page 138. So please, if you don't know the melody, you're going to like it and get the hang of it quickly. And when we get to the last verse, we're all going to rise and face the entrance as we welcome Shabbat into our presence.
Lecha lecha dodi likrat likrat kala v'nei Shabbat v'kavela lecha lecha dodi likrat likrat kala v'nei Shabbat v'kavela.
Let's all try together. Lecha dodi likrat likrat kala v'nei Shabbat v'kavela.
Shamor v'zachor v'ribor echad Yishmi'anu el ha'meyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shemo tiferet v'litfila la 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 lecha lecha dodi likrat likrat kala v'nei b'nei Shabbat v'kavela lecha lecha dodi likrat likrat kala v'nei b'nei Shabbat v'kavela.
Verse 2, Likrat Shabbat.
Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor ha'beracha merosh mikerem nesucha sof ma'aseh
B'machshava tefila la 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 lecha lecha dodi likrat likrat kala v'nei b'nei Shabbat v'kavela lecha lecha dodi likrat likrat kala v'nei b'nei Shabbat v'kavela. Verse 5. comfortable standing, we'll continue standing. And if not, that's okay too. We're on page 146 as we enter into our Ma'ariv service, our evening service, with the call to prayer. Seat as we turn to page 148. Judaism is really good at marking times and seasons and transitions. Sometimes it's easy to take for granted that we get to live another day, but Judaism says, no, do not let it be so. Let us give thanks for each morning, for each sunrise, and each evening as the sun goes down. So let's read together on page 148. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, uvitvuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umesader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtsono, borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, Umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzevaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, ma'ariv aravim. The top of page 151. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me, did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Together, Baruch atah Adonai, Amo Yisrael. Page 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Ve'avta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'chayu hadvarim ha'elech asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinatan levanecha v'dibartam bam b'shivtecha b'beitecha u'lechlecha v'aderech u'shokbecha u'kumecha u'shartam leot al yadecha והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוז ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Nice job. Beautifully done. Okay. This next part requires definitely some community participation. As we get ready to sing Micha Mocha, okay, here's the community participation. This is advanced technology, I know. Ready? See, they can do it. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב ולא מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל Yisrael. That was great. And next time we'll do the more advanced 2 and 4.
Agreed.
Yes. When the Jewish people learn to clap on 2 and 4, Messiah will come. Okay. Many of you know, I think it's been on all of our minds over the last few weeks, this leaked draft opinion concerning Roe v. Wade. This would be a good time where, if you feel it would be more appropriate, we do have a playground available for the younger ones. I think you know what this sermon is going to be about. Justice Alito's opinion, were it to become final, would overturn the landmark case. That would cede authority on the legality of abortion to the states. And many states have laws on the books that would essentially outlaw it in all cases were Roe to be overturned. Justice Alito's opinion is not final, but most everyone considers it an accurate sign of things to come. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I don't feel qualified to comment on the constitutional or procedural aspects of this particular issue. And more to the point, I'm also not a woman, not a person who can become pregnant. My personal feelings on this issue are frankly not as important as those of many of the people in our community and in this room right now. And yet, Judaism does have something to say about this issue, and it's an important issue. And so I thought it would be important to address it. So I'd like to share some of the Jewish wisdom on this topic, even though it's not easy. I think it goes without saying that abortion is a complex moral issue. People of goodwill might differ as to where to draw the red lines. And a theoretical discussion in a sermon around a dining room table. It's all very different than being confronted with these decisions, as untold thousands of women are each year. To begin, Judaism's stance does not align perfectly with either end of the archetypal pro-life or pro-choice dichotomy. On one hand, Judaism can be considered extremely pro-life, and those of you who have studied a little Torah know this to be true very obviously. I don't mean that in the polemical modern sense, but in a much broader sense. The very first commandment in the entire Torah is Pru urvu umil'u et haaretz, be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth. Ever since Adam and Eve, Judaism has loved babies and mothers and the societal benefits of having a large and growing community, especially as a minority people, especially given persecutions and destructions of our people over the years. Moreover, in Judaism, each human being is created b'tselem Elohim, in God's image, and each soul is infinitely precious. But of course that leads to a thorny question. When does life begin? When does a body considered to have a soul? Again, here Judaism takes a nuanced view. Within the early and middle stages of pregnancy, traditional sources tend to view abortion not as a criminal matter, but as a tort matter. And that's probably because in the ancient world, infant mortality and pregnancy loss were extremely common, sadly. I'm not aware of any Jewish perspective that would define the beginning of human life at the point of conception. But if it exists, it would be extreme and unusual. Generally speaking, in Judaism, a person is alive when they are born. And even then, the newborn status is unique, which is a more complex topic for another night that we could perhaps discuss or do in an adult ed if you're interested to learn more. But I will say that considerations such as the mother's physical and psychological health, the circumstances of the pregnancy, and any suffering the child would likely endure, any of these may quickly override the basic prohibition of abortion. If I were to state it as succinctly as I can, in Judaism, abortion is not permissible in all circumstances, but it is also required in certain circumstances. And therefore, a blanket ban on abortion rights anywhere, whether it's federal or states, is contrary to Jewish teaching. I'll say it again. Judaism is against laws that ban abortions. For example, a statement from the Orthodox organization called Agudat Yisrael, which officially disapproves of Roe versus Wade, still maintains that it, quote, opposes initiatives that would make abortion unlawful in situations where termination of pregnancy is mandated by religious law. Now, the reform movement of Judaism, of which TBT, as you know, is a part, recently issued strong statements to this effect, including the following. Abortion is a Jewish value and a universal value. Reform rabbis will continue to fight for this essential human right. At the same time, the Union for Reform Judaism also affirms that, quote, an unborn fetus is precious and to be protected. So regardless of denomination, Judaism believes that, number one, life and potential life are holy and to be protected. And number two, access to safe abortion is a religious directive. And therefore, what concerns me the most, and what I believe should concern all Americans of goodwill, is that ceding this particular issue to the states allows governmental control over women's bodies in violation of human autonomy, health, and in many cases, moral and religious obligation. As I said before, reasonable people will disagree about the circumstances under which abortion is permissible or correct, and that is their right, but I believe that it should also be their right to decide. It should be the decision in the hands squarely of the women and those they trust and love making them. This is one of the most wrenching personal decisions any human being can ever make, and our society should respect women enough to make it. Blanket bans on abortion will cause great harm to a great many people at great cost. As Rabbi Zoe Klein teaches, this includes, for example, the woman who has high blood pressure, whose doctors say her pregnancy might kill her. The woman with clinical depression and suicidal ideation, who is criminalized for saving herself. The woman living in a rural, remote town who cannot afford the transportation, hotel, and time off for a procedure. The partner who loses their job for taking the days needed to travel over state lines for their spouse's care. The woman who is a victim of reproductive coercion by a domestic abuser. The woman who is impregnated as a victim of trafficking. The girl who becomes pregnant through violent means and then re-traumatized by the court. The girl who is overpowered by a relative or person of authority. The woman of color who faces racial and ethnic disparity in medicine and less access to quality contraceptive services. The Ukrainian refugee who was assaulted by a Russian soldier and whose child will be an eternal reminder of that violation. These might sound theoretical, but they are all very real. And I think we all know that banning abortion won't stop abortions. It never has, it never will. But it will make them more expensive, dangerous, and traumatic, especially for those who are already at society's margins. It will mean that many people who really need this service won't be able to safely access it. It will destroy lives and amplify untold suffering. So overturning Roe without a sound federal legislative policy in its place further underscores that we are living in two different Americas. Not to overstate the case, but at a time in which this dystopian imaginings of George Orwell, the show The Handmaid's Tale, seem like they're coming to pass, it's a time in which we should be especially cautious and vigilant and speak up as people of moral conscience about human rights, about religious rights, especially for those facing life's most vulnerable circumstances. In the latter part of the book of Leviticus, which we're reading right now, and we'll hear Tali read from tomorrow, we learn a host of ethical and spiritual rules for living a holy life. This week we read, among other things, V'lo tonu ish et amito, v'yareta me'elohecha. You may not oppress one another, rather you should fear God. And conversely, we hear of this idea in the positive from the parsha called Kedoshim a few weeks ago. The famous idea, ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, you should love your fellow human being as yourself. So the Torah in these chapters of Leviticus takes care to outline two different sides of a single moral equation. Do no harm and seek to do what is right. Yet, how strange to command someone to love, ve'ahavta. You shall love. Tali just chanted it a moment ago, right? Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha. You shall love. How is it possible to command anybody to love anyway? Well, the way that I read this is that love is not a romantic love or even a familial love. Rather, it's about the sort of love that does not discriminate from one human being to the next. It's a universal love. It's a rule, not an idea, not an option. It's a commandment. That sort of love, in my opinion, refuses to engage in the all too cynical act of believing that somebody's body, skin color, external circumstances somehow make them any more or less human, make them different, essentially, than us. In essence, we are no different from one another. In other words, we have to love others always, and especially when they don't remind us of us, because they too have the same spark of God. They too are entitled to dignity without judgment. These two Levitical laws establish an uncompromising requirement to see the divine image in every human being. I hope, I pray, I fervently wish that in our country, that love may yet prevail. Shabbat Shalom.
Let there be love and understanding.
161.
Hashkivenu, Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu, Leshalom. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
Baruch atah Adonai haporei sukat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. Blessed are you, God. Your shelter of peace is over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. The poet Rilke writes, "Be patient toward all that is unresolved in your heart. Try to love the questions themselves. Do not now seek the answers which cannot be given, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions. Live them now. Perhaps you will then gradually, without noticing it, live along some distant day into the answers." Page 164, I invite you to rise if it's comfortable as we join together in the Amidah.
Adonai sefatai tifta ufi agita hilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanor Brah, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei hakol, V'zocher hasdei avot v'imahot, U'mevi gula livnei b'neihem, L'ma'an shemo be'ahava, Melech ozer u'moshia u'magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah.
Page 168.
Ata gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayei hakol ata rav lehoshia, Morbi ata, Mecholkel chaim bechesed, Mechayei hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofei cholim, Umatir hasurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar, Michamocha b'kivurot, Umidom elav, Melech meimit umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman ata l'chayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kedoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha sela. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakam.
continue now in a moment of silent reflection. The prayers between pages 170 and 80 can guide you, or you can simply sink into a moment of meditation, reflection, and personal prayer. Feel free to take the time you need, and then have a seat when you're ready. In our congregation, it's customary on Friday nights to offer a prayer in support of those who are in need of healing. I think all of us in the last few years have felt in so many ways the resonances and the blunt truths of mortality and the human condition. And so it's a chance for us to come together with our voices, our hearts, our spirits, to affirm that healing is possible, and that even when it is not, that strength and caring and love can bolster someone going through a very difficult time. So first I'll share the names of those in our congregation and our loved ones, If there are others that you'd like to share, you'll have an opportunity to do so as well, whether you're here in person or on Zoom. We think tonight of our temple members, Amy Agranov, April Diamato, Norma Diamond, Ken Gammerman, Henry Gettenberg, Marjorie Hart Glossband, Marcia Jacoby, David Keller, Molly Keller, Josh Lipschitz, Sabrina Maurer, Lisa Mesrich, Paula Retsky, and Shula Sturman. And our loved ones, including Marie Sammartino, Connie Ambrosino, Ellen Gilder, Mickey Bart, Jay Fliss, Sue Yaris, Joanne Crisulo, Mark Ostreicher, Matthew Pincus, Bart Young, Marvin Goldberg, Barry Cooperberg, Paul Frisman, Judy Hanover Spring, Elaine German, Ben Peck, Martha Potter, Mark Potter, Carol Bartlett, Gloria Newell, Claire Newman, Joan Sidney, Michael Stafford, Ira Weiss, Eileen Zions, and Larry Gella. If there are others who we'd like to add to our prayers tonight, feel free to do so on Zoom in the chat at this time, or if you're here in person and you'd like to say your loved one's name aloud, feel free to do so, or of course, hold them in spirit and heart. Is anybody saying Misha Berach tonight? Prayers for healing? Anybody for healing tonight? Carol Robbie. Jennifer Butler. Stephen Bruckner. Jess Frisch, Lyra Frisch, and Cheryl King. Kadosh Baruch Hu Yamalei Rachamim Aleihem. May God give them swift healing of body, mind, and spirit. And may all those who love them find comfort knowing that they are thought of, prayed for, and cared for. Here tonight, we're on page 371. We lift our voices in Misha Berach prayers. I'm reminded, seeing so many healers in our community, that it's a great opportunity for us to thank you and for all of you to thank them after the service. Some of them come in uniform, some of them do not, and we are so grateful to all of you.
And we have some other people that we are thanking tonight, namely our TBT religious school teachers, many who are with us here tonight. And I'd like to first share with you a story that comes from Pirkei Avot. Rabbi Yossi, son of Kisma, says, "One time I was walking on the road and a man met me. He greeted me, 'Shalom, Yossi.' And I returned the greeting, 'Shalom, hi there.' He said, "Rabbi Yossi, where do you come from?" And I replied, "From a city of great scholars and sages." He said to me, "Oh, Rabbi, do you want to live in my city where we are very rich? I can give you thousands of gold coins, precious stones, and pearls." I said to the man, "Even if you were to give me all the silver, gold, precious stones, and pearls in the world, I would not dwell anywhere but in a place of Torah. As it is written in Psalm 119, I prefer the Torah of your mouth over thousands of gold and silver pieces." What can we learn from this story? That a place of learning with good teachers is more precious to us than all the riches in the world. Our teachers at TBT are very precious to us. They are not just instructed of teaching our students the content of what is in the Torah, Hebrew and Jewish values, about our holidays and customs and traditions. They must also teach our students how to act in the world, how to ask good questions and be critical thinkers, how to pray, what we believe. Their task is huge, and each week they rise to the occasion. Our teachers this year have gone above and beyond. Many of them are sharing space in our preschool or using other spaces in the temple that have been turned into classrooms as we await the completion of our temple renovation. Our teachers have navigated COVID cases, changing mask requirements, and online learning. Our students returned to the classroom after a year and a half away, and with this came new learning and social hurdles, which our teachers handled with optimism and grace. We love our TBT teachers. We love the energy they bring to the classroom, the passion they have for sharing their love of Judaism with our children. They are shaping the future of TBT and the future of Judaism, and we are so grateful for how much of their time and their selves they give during the year. So it's my pleasure to recognize each of our teachers. Not all of them are here with us tonight for services, but I'll still say their names so you know who our teachers are. And if you are here tonight, I encourage you, as I say your name, to make your way to the front. So first up, we have Judy Posey, who teaches our kindergarten students. We have Dorothy Colchin in first grade. No, you can stay up here. Yeah, stay up front. In second grade, we have Caroline Shelton, who's not here tonight, and Lizzie Sharp, who's also not here tonight in third grade. Our fourth and sixth grade teacher was new this year, Danya Dubrow-Campaign. She's a student at Yale, and we've been very lucky to have her this year as well. Julie Mendez, I think, is joining us on Zoom, who teaches our fifth and seventh graders. Thank you, Julie. And for our Hebrew lab teachers, we have Paul Greenberg, Shelley Capozzi, and Jill Karamanis are all with us tonight, and Shai Tovia also teaches in our Hebrew lab. There you go. Yeah. There you go. And I have a blessing for all of you while you guys are up here. May you see your world in your lifetime. May your eyes sparkle with the light of the Torah, and your face shine like the brilliance of the heavens. May you speak words of wisdom, and may the deeds of righteousness you do fill your body with joy. And may your feet hurry to hear the words of the Ancient One who sets the cycles in motion. May you be blessed and strengthened as you have blessed and strengthened your students. May you have peace, grace, kindness, mercy, long life, and everything you need. To which we say, Amen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. You may all have a seat except for Jill. You're going to stay up a second longer. You're not off the hot seat yet. So we have one teacher this year, Jill, who is retiring after 14 years of teaching in our Hebrew lab. Yes. Jill, the impact you have made on our students at TBT is huge. You don't need to look further than the kippot that are lined on Jill's wall just to see how many kids she has touched over the years. You are a wellspring of Torah and a font of knowledge. You encourage your students to ask hard questions and really engage them with critical thinking and discussions. You aren't afraid to share who you are with your students, whether it's fun puzzles or elaborate Purim costumes or Star Wars jokes and puns. Yes, snaps from Rabbi. We are going to miss you so much in the classroom next year, but we know we will continue to see you around TBT and at our community, and continue to be with you and your family also, who is here tonight. So we have a couple of things for you. One is I can't hand to you, but it's going to be a leaf on the wall at the temple. And another thing is cards from our students who have written really lovely and wonderful things about you and for you.
Thank you.
And last but not least, these are flowers from Ron Capozzi and Shelley Capozzi.
You also have a card from our teens, our confirmation and JChat teens, who are so grateful for everything that you did to inspire them. But our teens can be a little flighty and they haven't all signed it yet. So I'm going to track some of them down and then give it to you when they've all had a chance.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Mazel tov, mazel tov.
And before we continue with the conclusion of our service, we have one other person that we have to thank, Deb Coe. If you could come on up. I know you're back there.
You might have to bring to her.
All right, I'll bring.
No, she's coming, she's coming. Yay, Deb.
Deb Coe has been on our education committee and a co-chair of our education committee for, I won't say how many years, but at least 3 Cantor educators. And so thank you, Deb, for everything that you do, everything behind the scenes, the ways that you support our school, our religious school directors, our teachers, for the beautiful oneg you've set up tonight, and for all of your time that you've given to TBT over the years.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks, Deb, also for the beautiful oneg that you brought and set up tonight.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that just like her to work so hard for us behind the scenes and then not take any of the credit? What a wonderful blessing to have teachers of our children. The Talmud teaches that the world endures by the breath of little school children in our halls. And we wouldn't have anything for them to be considered school children, to be able to know, learn, and live knowledgeable Jewish lives without you. It's among the greatest gifts that can be offered, and we are very, very grateful. Thank you, Cantor. Okay, so I think we have a special song first.
We do, yes.
Okay.
I don't know if it's in the book.
Oh,
It
that's a
might
good
be.
question. I'll take a
Yeah.
look.
Okay. In the meantime, if you know it, you can sing along. May we be blessed as we go on our way. May we be guided in peace. May we be blessed with health and joy. May this be our blessing. Amen. 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 May this be our blessing. Amen.
Page 649, 649.
Amen. Amen. May this be our blessing. Amen. May we be sheltered by the wings of peace. May we be kept in safety and in love. May grace and compassion
Well, in these interim weeks between the two big spring Jewish holidays of Passover and Shavuot, we count each day and we see our own growth and progress and excitement to work toward the summer each day too. And so there's a tradition of counting those days and doing it ritually, which we can do all of us together. It's on page 570. We invite you to please rise if you're able to. Would you like to do this one? Or do you want me to do this one?
I can do it.
Great.
We read at the top of page 570. Hineni muchan uzman l'kayem mitzvat aseh shel sfirat ha'omer. I am ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al sfirat ha'omer. Hayom chamisha ushloshim yom shehem chamisha shavuot la'omer. Today is the 35th day, which is 5 full weeks of the counting the Omer.
Which means in only 2 more full weeks, we'll be at Shavuot and confirmation, which is so exciting, and we can't wait to see many of you there as well for that special service. We'll now turn just a few to page 586 for Aleinu L'Shabeach.
Aleinu L'Shabeach L'Adon HaKol, L'Ateit Gedulai L'Yotzei Bereshit, Shelo Asanu Kegoyei Haratzot, Velo Samanu Kemishpachot Ha'adama, Shelo Sam Chelkeinu Kahem, V'Goradenu Kechol Hamonam, Va'anachnu Koim, Umishtachavim Umadim, Lifnei Melech, Malchei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
591.
Metnemar v'haya Adonai le'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yihya Adonai echad u'shemo
We can all have a seat. Stu Weinzimmer is here to greet us on behalf of our board. Welcome, Stu.
Shabbat Shalom. A warm welcome to all of our guests here tonight at Camp Laurelwood, or TBT North as we call it. My name is Stu Weinzimmer, and I am the Secretary and the Director of Religious Activities on the Board of Directors here. Tomorrow, join us on Zoom for Jewish mindfulness and meditation at 8 a.m., followed by Torah study at 9 a.m., led by Jonathan Katz. At 10 a.m., we will celebrate Tali Silva becoming a bat mitzvah with a Shabbat service here at Camp Laurelwood. This Sunday, religious school, tikkun, and confirmation will be held at their scheduled times for the last time this school year. Families are invited to meet at 11:30 a.m. in the parking lot for an end-of-year celebration. Next Friday, Shabbat services are at 6:30 on the green in front of the First Congregational Church in Madison. And on Saturday at 10:30 at Congregation Beth Shalom Road Faith Tzedek in Chester, as we celebrate Devri Aronson becoming a bar mitzvah. Looking ahead, we will return to Congregation Beth Shalom Road Faith Tzedek on Sunday, June 3rd at 10 a.m. for our Shavuot service and to celebrate our confirmation class. Also, our Scholar in Residence weekend begins June 10th. This year's scholar is Rabbi Daniel Zemmel, and we look forward to seeing you at Shabbat, Torah study, and our Sip and Schmooze event that weekend. And the flyer with more details is in your inbox. So on behalf of TBT, I'd like to say again, Shabbat Shalom, Mazel Tov to Tali and your family, Todah Rabbah to all of our teachers, and especially to Jill, and to Deb. I know how long you've been on the director, I'm not going to say. So, yeah, Shabbat Shalom.
Do you want to correct that confirmation date?
Say again?
The confirmation date.
Yes. I know that you have all of those dates instantly committed to your memory and on your calendar, having heard all of them. But confirmation service and Shavuot is on Sunday, the 5th of June. Right. Very good. Oh, and I have some of those flyers if you didn't get one last week for our Scholar in Residence. I still have some more of these pretty color flyers that Stephanie Bombs did such a great job on. So I'm happy to give those out if you want one to put on your fridge. Okie dokie. Well, I have to say that it's been such a special service to have so much joy in the room, so much to celebrate. And just like we break the wedding glass under the chuppah, and there's just a little time to remember the brokenness, so too in a service where so many joyful things are taking place, we take a moment of memory to honor those who are in our community in a time of grief and loss, or those who are observing a yahrzeit, remembering a loved one who passed away in this season, but in years gone by. And in the period of Shiva within our congregation, we remember Alan Rosenthal, father of Josh, Michael, and Max Rosenthal, and son of our members Emily and Richard Skolnick. We also remember for the yahrzeits Henry Hank Moss and Charles Winnicor. There are others who would like to add a name for our Kaddish today. You're welcome to do so whether in the chat or here in person. I'll invite us to please rise in solidarity with the mourners of our people as we continue on page 598. Page 598. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach yireutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shemei rabbah mevorach le'alam u'le'olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shemei dekudesha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shlama rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav Uyaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'toshvei tevel v'imru, amen. May the source of harmony on high bring peace to us and comfort to all those who are in mourning this evening. As together we say, amen.
Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, Uyaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, amen.
Tali, you can come on up with your family as we make Kiddush together. Everybody else can have a seat. Come on around. Nice and big. Come on. This is the long one.
Here, I'll take the book. So you have the thing for the Jesus. There you go.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu
still just juice.
Just juice.
Considering changing it. That's a beautiful color.
I'll give this to you. And this and let's see. Ready? Baruch Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Family gets the first dibs. That's your privilege. I know, you want to become bar mitzvah every week, right? That's all you can be excited about tomorrow. Okay, thanks, fam. Mazel tov. We can't wait to continue celebrating with you. Oh, thank you. Keep it up here for now.
Yeah.
Okay, Cantor, a song to close?
Yeah, we'll close with Od Yavo on page 353. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'olam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'olam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'olam. Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu, Od Yavo Shalom Aleinu ve'olam.
Adonai oz le'amo yiten, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom. May God bless God's people. May God bring all of us peace and delight and joy this Shabbat. Shabbat shalom, everybody.